Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this new tech talk organized by Perficient Latin America. Today we will be talking about Salesforce. We have a great presenter today. We're going to be talking to Terry Leshin. Terry is a delivery director in Salesforce for Perficient. And he's going to be talking to us about the Salesforce practice in the whole company. We're going to be taking 5 minutes. We're going to be waiting until 6:35 to let everybody join the talk, and then we will start.
I have been working here for a long time, so I played multiple roles. That's one of the cool things here, that you can move from one role to other if you're willing to do so.
I started working here as a customer experience analyst. I worked in that position for 2 years, and after that the company gave me the chance to start working as a QA analyst. I just wanted to be more involved in the engineering side. Even though I'm not an engineer, I wanted to learn.
You have the culture of sharing experiences, so you always have the opportunity to know from other teams on other kind of projects that allow us to jump to another projects if you want to learn other technologies, or if you want to work in a completely different way.
People are amazing here. I have a lot of friends here. The environment is very nice. You can learn about new stuff every day. You have the chance to be in very interesting projects. And I think if you are able and you really want to do it, and you have the company support to do it, you can get everything you want.
I would like to feel that I'm adding value to what we do here. I want to make something important, and I want to help people. I want to help the team to succeed, and I'm feeling, I'm doing good while doing these things. And that's what keeps me motivated to come every day here.
All right, that's 6:35. We're now going to proceed to welcome Terry. Before we can actually do that, I want to let you know why we're doing this. We are doing this tech talk in particular because we want you, the Salesforce developers in Colombia, to see what we have, what we're doing, why we are a great place to work. We want you to understand how we're working in great projects, what kind of technologies are we using inside the Salesforce ecosystem, and nothing better to tell us that is Terry. So Terry, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here.
Welcome. So, okay, I'm gonna leave you to it. You're the star tonight. So, yeah, rock it.
Awesome. Sounds great. It's great to be here. Terry Lucian here. I'm going to share my screen. I'll introduce myself. We will get into it here and talk through everything. First of all, to confirm, can someone confirm you can see my screen okay? Looks like it's sharing there to me, so I'll continue. Interrupt me if it's not, but great to be here. My name is Terry Lucian. I'm a delivery director with Perficient. I have a whole bunch of content here, but the most important part here, again, is you to learn about Perficient and what we have to offer, and like was already said, the great projects we get to work on. So as you have questions, please send them over. It could be in general about Salesforce. I can talk about Salesforce all day. It could be about career growth. It could be about Perficient. Just get them in the chat. The team will get those to me, and away we go. So with that, here's my LinkedIn picture page here. Reach out anytime. I think that's been shared around, but it's fun to be with you. Just want to show you where I'm calling from. A bit north of you, obviously, down here in Columbia Group. I live up here in Fargo, North Dakota. That is where the base Salesforce practice is, but we have people all over the country. On a daily basis, I work with some people out of Dallas, Texas. I work with some people out of California. We had a guy fly in from over here in Washington, so we're a national company. We have about 100 onshore people in our business unit right now. Of course, Perficient is much larger, and I will talk about that. And then we have another 50 contractors. So we're a very good sized Salesforce shop, and we are excited to grow greatly over the next few years. We are really set up for some great growth, and that brings a lot of great opportunities. So again, I live up here in Fargo. I love to go fishing. There's a million lakes up here. Minnesota here is called the land of 10,000 lakes. So that's what I like to do, and I have some fun. I grew up in Wilmer down here. I went to school down in Iowa down here. So I'm a upper Midwest person, definitely. The closest I've ever gotten to Colombia is I did go to Jamaica. I lived there for about 4 months, volunteering down there. And I have been used to tropical climates too. I served in what's called the Peace Corps, where I went over to Cameroon over here, and I lived there for 2 years, learned some French. I do speak German too, but I learned some French, and I served as a teacher over there back in my 20s. So I'm definitely used to the consistent warm weather. Up here, of course, we get a lot of snow. It gets quite cold. So that is a little bit about me. I'm going to dive into first of all, I'm going to talk about the Perficient overview deck. What's Perficient? How big is it? Some things like that. And I won't talk too long on that. Then I'll get into the Salesforce business unit itself, because there are different business units that serve different products like Adobe or Microsoft or Oracle or Tableau or stuff like that, because Perficient is quite big. And then I will get into some very specific projects that I've been through in Salesforce. I want to share some stories about them, but I also want that to be very interactive, as far as if you have questions about them, what we do, what clouds we work in, which are a lot, and away we go. So I'm going to share this. Let's go to present here. Awesome. All right. We're a digital company. We're driving digital change. There's a lot going on. Our projects are anywhere from 3 to 18 months. There's a lot to do. Here's Jeff, our leader. I love to play chess too, so I like the picture anyway. But we are a global company transforming brands. We work with some of the biggest brands, especially in manufacturing, financial services, and healthcare. I get to work a lot in healthcare right now. We will work with any vertical. We're a big company, but those are the ones that we really focus on. Here's the high level pieces about Perficient as a whole, right? 35 global locations, including down in Colombia. That's our revenue as of last year. We're working to be a $1 billion company. There's a lot of growth there, and that's going to happen. Founded back in 1997. It was headquartered out of St. Louis, which is right in the middle of the United States. Again, the company as a whole has 5,000 colleagues, so there's a lot of opportunity to grow in different areas. You might come in and start in Salesforce and really like Salesforce, and you might be in here for 2 years and you might really like mobile development, and maybe you want to move over to that type of team. You might really like some marketing analytics and Tableau, and you might move over to a team like that. So lots of opportunities across lots of technologies. We thrive on our repeat business, doing great things, and we are a publicly traded company. Here's a map across the world here. Again, I think this is supposed to be my dot up here in Fargo, way up here. So, and then here's your office down here in Colombia. Of course, you have team members. We have team members already from across Colombia. Our offshore presence over in India, Nagpur, Chennai, those are growing very fast. So we have this nearshore presence, same time zone. It's great to work with the team members. They're here too. And we have extremely talented team members over here in India, where we are sharing work with them, and they're doing great stuff every day and growing very fast. And also offices in China too, places in Europe. So just really growing very, very quickly. We're optimized for that global delivery. We are at the right place, the right time, and we have the right skills to match our customers' needs. And we have just some very exciting projects that we get into. And we have all kinds of different layers. You know, we have architects, designers, developers, project managers, business analysts. You need all those things to make sure it works properly. Again, this speaks to the diversity of technology that Perficient does as a whole. So tonight we are talking about Salesforce here. We have a separate business unit that is MuleSoft. Of course, Salesforce bought MuleSoft, so a lot of our integration projects, we're working with MuleSoft a lot, doing all kinds of things with that to move data. And then we'll get into all the different clouds that we do there too. But we end up working with these other business units. So somebody will develop a website on Sitecore. Of course, it's a .NET development environment, and the leads are the people who land on the page, and you fill out a form and it needs to go into Sales Cloud typically. We're helping with that integration. How do you use the Salesforce API? How do you use the web to lead page? What are you going to do with that? Sitecore might start working, connecting to Marketing Cloud or something too. Lots of options there. Adobe, same thing, big shop, you know, they can build their websites, this and that. And then we have a little bit of the back end systems here too that we might integrate with. We might be pulling data from Oracle. We might be pulling data from Microsoft or Azure or something like that. So we are an enterprise partner with them and continue to greatly grow every day and every year. I was just working in Informatica today with a client too. There's always something new. On to the next slide here. End-to-end approach. You know, in order to build these and do these digital transformation projects, you have to have all pieces in play, right? You have to have great strategy and consulting skills, right? Because people don't always know going in exactly what they want, right? There's a lot of twists and turns, and people have a vision of where you want to go. But we have those, what we would call solution architects, who can come in and do that type of work. Of course, we have the development teams who can actually do the work, connect the dots, build the front-end components, this or that. You have to have the right platforms and technology, which we are supporting the best technologies out there. And a lot of it comes down to data, right? Every company is a data company now. It doesn't matter what you are. It's all about how good your data is and how best you can leverage it. Everyone has to embrace digital. right? That's where how the data lands. That's how we're going to segment it. That's how we're going to market with it. Companies are racing to leverage their data in the best way possible. It is amazing, the segmentation and the data that gets built out there to really help these brands, customers do what they need to do. Our approach, like we all do, you got to figure out what you want in the beginning. You need discovery. You got to create it. And this is where I live most of the time, engineering it, and then finally see it run. That's the exciting part. You deliver that project as a team, you fulfill it, it's out there, people are using it, and then you build on it and you make it better every day. And that's very, very exciting. Industries we serve, I mentioned healthcare. I get to work a lot with doing health cloud and marketing cloud. Financial services, we work with. I've worked a lot in manufacturing too. We have some really big clients there. It's amazing the things that get built. There is a manufacturing cloud now, actually that's used for certain pieces of that process downstream from the opportunity. But we'll work with anybody. I have a team member who works with Toyota, right, in there. So we're going to help everybody grow. Our purpose, thrill clients with innovation and impact, deliver value with bright minds and deep expertise. And that's where we need you. We need the best and brightest minds. We need talent because that's what brings the best solution. And we're very serious about that and taking care of you and helping you grow. I currently meet, a couple of days a week, if not more, with the Columbia team members. And I am sharing what I know, exposing them to certifications, exposing them to different clouds, helping them make sure they move forward properly, introducing them to people and becoming part of our team, because we have to do this together. We are one team and we have goals of being the world's leading consulting firm. And if you've watched our growth, we are a very strong player. Our values, everyone has values, but you have to lay them out there so that they get followed and done right. Integrity, innovation. I'm living in this space all the time, taking care of our clients, pride, people. That's what we're here for again today is people. So as you have questions, as you're curious about stuff, I'll get interrupted here and I'll try to answer best I can. Collaboration, working together and working seamlessly on these projects. I think I'm about good on this one. So I'm going to go off this. So that is kind of Perficient as a whole, right? I hope you have a sense that there is a Salesforce business unit. It's about maybe the middle of the business units of our company, but we are definitely attacking that and going to try to be one of the biggest business units within Perficient and to be a leader in all areas. So I'm going to flip over to our business unit then. So here we go to this one. I'm going to drag it up on my other screen here. All right, so let's share where it's the thing. There we go. All right, practice overview. Here we go. So again, pretty high level here. I won't spend a lot of time on this overview and this and that, and then we'll get into some fun techie details. But why we do it, again, we're trying to bring all these pieces together: marketing, sales, commerce, service. And when you do it right, it really does come together, right? It's that data will live in one spot and you can really see what's going on and then mine and use that data for whatever purpose that you need to. But all these areas of a company do come together, and then you can transform the experience. This is our business unit, our numbers. This is our customer satisfaction score. It's out of 5. It says 11 plus years of experience, though we have people who go back much further than that. We have people who go back to before Salesforce bought Datorama, before Salesforce bought ExactTarget and turned it into Marketing Cloud. We've been around a long time. I've been in it 10 plus years myself. 400 plus Salesforce certifications. I have like 17 of those, over the 10 years. You just pick them up here and there, and 500 clients and going from there. We work across all of these clouds, whether it's Einstein Analytics, whether it's Service Cloud, whether it's Lightning Web Components, integrations. We serve them. Again, here's the main 3 verticals that we serve, and some of our awards over here, including this Bolt one for you techie people on the call. That was really fun. I got to help build that, and the Bolt solution is nothing more than an app exchange package with a community built inside of it, so you can deploy it and then leverage it just like that. It's a really great feature of the app exchange there. We're known among Forrester, those research areas that will rank consulting firms as we're growing. Our services, back to this is kind of, I showed that slide earlier, but you have to have the strategy and consulting lined up. Clients, they have to trust that you understand their industry and what they're trying to do and what their business outcomes are. And then we can come along with our technical team and deliver on those solutions. And again, that can be all kinds of things: APIs, CRM, cloud, connecting to AWS, whatever we're doing. What we do, again, 360-degree view of the customer. We're touching all of these things every day. I have a client that I'll be on a call with tomorrow, and they have Sales Cloud. They're doing leads and accounts. They're doing Service Cloud. They got all kinds of cases going on. Community Cloud is on the horizon. I've talked to them about that. Marketing Cloud delivers hundreds of thousands of emails every month. We use Einstein Analytics over here, which is now renamed to Tableau CRM. That is a great way when your data is connected to your CRM data, because it syncs over really easy. It has a great engine under it to quickly be able to group and view into your data, and even has some Einstein discovery pieces of it for some machine learning. Then, of course, just the platform itself is trusted. It's been built on, it's API first based. Here's our 3 verticals: manufacturing cloud, health cloud, financial services, and the other partners that we work with. And we have to do all of these in order to compete and deliver these enterprise type solutions. How we do it could be accelerators. We're taking the knowledge from our past projects and our best practices, and the best way to tie these clouds together. It's not trivial. You can't just turn them on and then they all magically tie together perfectly. There's best practices that we help our clients implement, and we train them up so they can run with these things. Can be jump starts too, which means we're going to come in, stand something up quickly, and get a client rolling. How we do it, kind of 3 different buckets of work. I mean, in the end, you're as a team member, you're kind of doing the same work no matter what. But we do have assessments. We'll come in, and I might come in for 2 to 4 weeks to a client and help them understand what's going on, where do they want to go, do a bit of a discovery session. Project work is where you have that defined set of scope. We're going to set up Health Cloud. We're going to connect it to Marketing Cloud, and we're going to do 5 journeys in there, right? And we're going to do all that work. Managed services is more ongoing. A client might already have Marketing Cloud stood up, and we're going to come in and we're going to run that for them. We're going to do the journeys. We're going to do the queries. We're going to set up all the emails and do the AMP script, and we're going to segment it properly for them and just run that for them, because we can do it very effectively and at a great cost with very talented team members. Who we've done it with, it's such a fun list to look at. I work with Dexcom every day. I work with Texas Health down here every day. I've worked with them for the last 8 years on projects. That'll be in a slide. I worked in Ecolab in St. Paul for, multiple years. So, just great brands that we've worked with, and there's many more. And these are global brands. This is exciting, transformative work. And I think that might be it for that one. Wonderful. Okay. Well, we're about 20 minutes in here. I think we're doing good on stuff. Let's get into some examples here on couple more slides here about, let's see, I'm going to close this guy. Right here, I'm coming over. I do like to go camping. That is my tent, I wish. All right, so let's share from here. I got about 3 or 4 slides, and then I'm going to show some architecture diagrams here. So again, here we go. This is kind of our team structure, right? As you come in here, and we're looking for members in all areas of this. We are a bit focused immediately on more technical people, but we are, if not imminently, very soon hiring in all these roles. So we always have some type of Scrum Master, project manager that needs to run the projects, right? Help make sure we're following our Agile methodology, making sure that budget reports go out, making sure all our Scrum ceremonies are happening. We follow that Agile methodology very tightly. We really believe it makes for very a well-oiled machine, making great teams that are very effective. We have business consultants and product owners who are managing the backlog. Of course, the backlog is an Agile term, but all the things we need to do, prioritizing those, getting them ready, getting them into the sprints, and away you go. So that's kind of that project manager here. Again, and then on the technical side, I sort of sit in this delivery director seat, but I've been this technical architect for a long time, taking what needs to be done and implementing it. Are you going to build a trigger? Are you going to use a flow? Are you going to do an integration? Are you going to leverage MuleSoft? Do they have a different ETL tool? Is their backend system Java or .NET? So that needs to work a little different with some platform events you're going to use or something. So lots to figure out there. And we are staffing up quickly on lots of technical consultants. And that's experienced people and also people who we can train up. We have people coming in right now, and we're getting them their certifications and training them up and meeting with them and getting them their certs passed and growing them very, very quickly. So all kinds of team members, and of course there's a mix of people from in the States and people in Colombia and offshore over in India. So very flexible model here. This is our managed services offering. Lots of options here. This is one of our really big growing areas. We really deliver this well. We can really have this extended dev team that can flex up and down depending on what's needed. Maybe there's a solid team there of 4 people who are doing some work, and then they need to implement a new third-party piece of data from Experian or something, and we can bring in some new people, get that done, and then come back to the core team to help maintain their system. But in the end, it's all Salesforce challenging work on very, very complex systems. Let's see here. Again, this training, and I'm all about this. You can tell that I love to grow, and you just have to love to grow to be in this space, because you're going to grow every day. I was learning yesterday about Salesforce CDP, Customer Data Platform. It's new. It hasn't been out very much. Not many partners have been exposed to it. It's going to sit in front of Marketing Cloud and be that segmentation engine that's going to bring a lot of data together. It hasn't been around. They bought some tools, they built some tools, they put it together, and it's something new to learn. And next year there's going to be something to learn too. And I think that's what really makes it exciting. So most of you probably know these ways to learn, but Trailhead is a great place to learn. Go out there. All the certifications are out there. We focus on Platform Developer 1 and Marketing Cloud Email Specialist first, and then we can continue and encourage after that. Trailhead itself, if you haven't seen that, if you're totally new to Salesforce, you can completely learn Salesforce on your own with great training out here. And it's hands-on too. You get to log into an org, they test you, you have to click and make it work, and you get your badges and you feel really good because you've made progress. And you can also get a free developer org out there too through this link, developer.salesforce.com sign up, where you get an actual true Salesforce org. Of course, it's, doesn't have only has so much data in it, but it's fully functional. You can build a community. You can learn how to do Lightning Web Components. You can teach yourself and be ready for this transition if you want to. And in that learning, here's that learning on the technical side. We encourage people to work through these certifications and to get up to this spot. I have both the application and the system architect certifications. I've passed the entry-level test to this, and I just haven't been able to fly to San Francisco or some other places there's an in-person piece to this too, but we have multiple people who have this level of certification within Perficient. It's a great place to learn and rub shoulders with, I believe, some really talented people. Salesforce itself, before I just have, I think, one more slide here or so before our client examples, but there's just so much to it, right? And it has to fit together, and it takes experience to fit this together. You know, I love any .NET architect out there, and I love any Java architect or Adobe architect and things like that. But you know, in your own system, there's certain ways that things fit together, and if you don't do it right, it's not going to fit right, and it won't flow, and you won't have the reporting out of it. And they have to come and fit together and slide in nicely together. I think this is a nice thing, showing all these different clouds that we get to work with, but how they do kind of have to fit together. And this is even a little bit older picture here. There's been a lot more added to it since this one came out, but I thought it was a nice picture about all these different clouds. Of course, we all started out with Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Marketing Cloud was bought. That was Exact Target, and these two sync together so well. I've been part of building App Exchange packages and that Bolt solution, like I mentioned, so we'll get into that for our clients also. Great stuff. So as we're working with our clients, we're going to come in and between our solution architect and our technical architect, we're going to be laying out how we believe things should work. And a lot of it is also helping our clients just understand it, right? A lot of terms, a lot of new words. What's a marketing cloud contact versus a sales cloud contact? What is marketing cloud connect? What is it connecting to? Like all these things, and helping them. And I just love that piece of it too, helping our clients. But we'll be coming in, in this example here, every place is going to have some type of a website. What was this built on? Was it built on Adobe? Was it built in Sitecore? And we know and have experience with how that needs to connect to these different systems. Right now, there's a tool. It was Evergage. It was rebranded to Interaction Studio. We actually have a team member in Colombia working on that studio right now, how it connects to the website. And then that is actually going to feed downstream into Journey Builder and Email Studio to send out emails, or it can send out SMS messages too within Marketing Cloud. But these things flow in a certain way, and each one has a lot of learning behind it, but that also leads for a lot of career growth. This is kind of the one I was talking about here with CDP. It's relatively new. That's going to sit in front of Journey Builder and Email Studio also. Of course, the web here, I was saying earlier how the CMS system has to feed the leads into your system. Every website has a form that says sign up, right? I want information on this. I want to sign up for this newsletter. Can you send me a sample of this product, right? That has to land here into the Salesforce platform, the force.com platform. Then those leads, then there's a lot of pieces to it. They don't just land there, but how are they going to be deduped? How are you going to score them? When are they going to be converted into an account, contact, and opportunity? All that lead management. You're going to get into campaign management. How are the leads going to get connected to campaigns? What's that process? Are you tracking some things in your website that need to flow over into these leads to tie them to the right campaign so you get the right reporting and you see what's really working? And of course, there's all these layers underneath this side of it, which has the Sales Cloud, the Service Cloud. This is like Field Service Lightning over here. It's talking about on the field side. There's so much, and there's so many different ways to do things. I just think that's so exciting. It makes it really easy to do some things with maybe a flow or flow builder. And then when we need to get more detailed, we have the Lightning Web Components, which is a thing that's really stabilizing. We don't use the Visualforce or the Aura Lightning components as much as we can anymore. So much here. Well, let's get into a client example. And again, I have 6 or 7 here. I know we're getting to be, maybe 15 minutes after the 7:06 here. So I'm in here, but if I get interrupted, I'm here to answer questions. All right, well, this one, keep rolling with this. This is an example of leveraging all these different clouds and an ETL type provider, MuleSoft or other one. With this client, it actually is Informatica. But what are we doing to leverage? This is like a provider relationship management system. So a provider is a doctor, right? Could be a dentist, it could be an eye doctor, could be a psychologist, right? But usually you don't think of Salesforce and, using it to onboard people or a doctor or an employee, but it really works. It really, really does. Typically we think of it, of course, of selling stuff, right? I want to sell a t-shirt, right? So that is my product. And I have a lead who wants to buy 10,000 t-shirts, and then I convert that lead and go from there. That's more that manufacturing one that makes more sense. But in the healthcare space, there's lots of options for not only consumer stuff, which would be the patient, right? Logging in somewhere and seeing your information, but for the providers, this is about those doctors. So how do you, first of all, just data model them in the system? And Salesforce, we know, is very flexible for what we can do. And what we do is we tie the account and the contact together because a given doctor can work in multiple locations, right? They could work in Chicago, they could work in New York, right? If they had a big practice or something. And then of course there's multiple doctors who might work in Chicago too. So it's that many to many relationship. We, in this system here, like I said, across these clouds, we also have cases and use Service Cloud in here to manage changes. So what if somebody's last name changes, right? And we need to change that data. What if the TIN changes, which is a tax identification number? What changes? And what we do with that is we don't just leverage, we could just leverage a case and people could go in and change data, but these data models that we build are very complex. So what we will have is on our case, we'll have a button that launches either a flow or a Lightning Web Component or a Lightning Web Component in a flow, excuse me, and that will walk that user through making those changes in there because it's going to bring up all the right data. It's going to ask all the right questions. Then we're going to hit submit, and maybe the flow can do it, or maybe we need to call a remote action method into Apex to do something a bit more complicated. But that's so here we're using Service Cloud. On the portal side, these doctors or dentists or eye doctors, whoever they are, Salesforce they rebranded it now to Experience Cloud. It used to be called Community Cloud, but they can log in to this and they can manage their information. One of the typical things that you have to do as a healthcare provider is typically to verify your address that you're still there, because that's very important for listing. It's just the government says you have to do that. There's also a search portal that we built for them too, which is on a public site. So if some of you from a long time in history know that public sites are one of the first things that were out there, and it used to do it all with Visualforce, but now you can have a public community page or an experience builder page. But we have a large company who lists all of their providers out there, and that it's running right on the Salesforce platform. All the data is in Salesforce. And then we need to always integrate with the back-end system, right? The data might be coming in, the data might be coming out, it might be bi-directional, it might be bulk loads, it might be real time. There's a lot of different ways to solve those problems, right? And each one is unique and challenging. So here in this one, we're dumping with some batch jobs that run every day. We have some Apex batch jobs and triggers that dump data to a bunch of staging objects. They're just custom objects, right, that you're all used to seeing. And then we use some type of tool to send it to the back-end system. Might be MuleSoft, might be Delboomi, might be Informatica, whatever that tool is, or it could be using platform events, a lot of different ways. But we're always moving data around somewhere. It never just stays in Sales Cloud or Health Cloud. The data's got to move, and we really know how to do that. Yeah, let's go on to the next one. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to move over into an example with Health Cloud. So HC up here is trying to stand for Health Cloud. But one of the things with Health Cloud can be used for a lot of different things. But one of the main things we've been working with a lot is having data land in Health Cloud, bringing it together, and then getting that data over to Marketing Cloud so it can be, the people can get their emails or their SMS messages very effectively and can segment it. And this is actually where Salesforce CDP is going to come into. That's kind of the future of it. And we're all focused and excited to do more and more with that over time. But this gives an example from one client of the complexity around that. And that's exciting, and that's fun to see all this come together and work. So you're going to have some type of third-party data or back-end data coming into your system. So Experian is a credit reporting thing, third-party data that you can buy that data about people and get their base address or things of that. You purchase that information. Epic is the data that comes from a healthcare system. So this is like it's your back-end database. Newcomer is an example of people moved to town, right? You can buy a list of people who just moved to town because, of course, you want to welcome them into your clinic or your business or something. So you're going to buy that data. They're bringing it into an EDW, an enterprise data warehouse thing with Teradata. That could be anywhere, right? It could be Oracle, it could be Azure out on the cloud, right? And then you got to get it into your Health Cloud or Sales Cloud. And here we're talking about Health Cloud. So we land all that data in here and we bring it together, right? We're trying to tie those leads together to get that one unique view of the person, of the patient that we're working with. And then we need to send that data to different places. Before we even send it down here, again, here's the same pattern, right? We're used to seeing these same patterns. How does this work? What is this? This is the website, right? There's a website for every healthcare provider out there. You know, patients signing up. They'll be, an expectant mom. Mom's going to go to the hospital and wants to sign up for a form to get on the mailing list to get nice emails about that pregnancy journey. So they're going to sign up and push that data in here, and that becomes that lead. Now, then that data gets all nicely wrapped together, and then we can send it over to Marketing Cloud. Again, these are very different systems. So just if you haven't been exposed to Marketing Cloud yet, and it's kind of new to most people work in this Health Cloud here. But there's a lot going on in Marketing Cloud, and it's a totally different system. It basically runs on a SQL server underneath the covers. So if you're really good at queries, it's great that way. If you like your group buys and having clauses and things like that, there's this thing called Automation Studio in there. I really like working with that. I'm more of a back end type of guy. But there's front end things in here too with the emails. Can be very dynamic. They need to be responsive. Work in a lot of clients. We use AmpScript in here to personalize those emails or put tables in the email. And all the while, we're trying to make sure we really take care of the data of our client, right? This is PHI data. It's very protected data. We have to make sure we do things right and that we take care of that data and help our clients with best practices around that. There's also Cloud Pages over here. If you ever heard that word, Cloud Pages are like, it's a web page right? You know, it's not sitting on your website over here. It's a web page that lives here, but these two things can work well together, where you might build a form here that can bring in data. Maybe that pregnancy form actually doesn't submit a lead this way. Maybe this cloud page form is built here, and then it gets, you know, put in an iframe here on the website. But then when it submits, it lands here. You can do some cool stuff with it, and you can actually push this lead over into Health Cloud this way. So there's multiple different ways you can do it depending on what's best for the client, what their skill sets are, how they want to leverage the tools, and things like that. Take a pause here again, just in case somebody wants to pop in with a question. All right, let's keep rocking. You know, just best practices, you know, that we get in, we help the clients set up. This stuff is all new, right? For the most part, like how should my sandboxes be laid out? What's the best way to do that? Should I integrate with Azure DevOps? Should I integrate with Git? Should I buy a tool like Click Deploy to do these type of things? You're going to have some type of developer track for different projects. You need to integrate that data somehow, right? So we don't overwrite each other's code, and teach these clients the best way to do that. Working up into a full sandbox, which is a full copy of production typically. Again, these are expensive, so we got to be, probably only get one of them to work with, so you got to be careful with them. This has to could connect to Marketing Cloud, for example, if you set up a new business unit for a test system. So helping the clients line up their back-end systems of dev, test, and production with what Salesforce is doing too. So like in this example, this UAT system is talking to their test ERP system, or it could be Azure or something too. And of course you have production, right? This is production. You know, who can log in here, who can be sysadmin, who can not be in here, what are the right profiles and permissions and things like that. And of course, this is talking to the other production systems of Marketing Cloud and any other backend systems like ERP and stuff like that. So we get into all kinds of even basic setup things like this, and making sure that the client is on track for a long time to be able to handle and manage the system. And of course, we can handle it for forever too in a managed service offering setup. And here's even a backup sandbox, right? Just really simple. Maybe you just have a simple backup of your metadata here as a really simple one, so you never lose more than a week's worth of work or something really simple for some clients. An example here of what we call our interactions model. But the concept here is that, again, Salesforce hands you like Sales Cloud and Service Cloud and Marketing Cloud, and they come together in a certain way, right, out of the box, and certain things fit together. But there's still some best practices you have to put on top of that to really make a client be able to be effective. And it comes down to, I used some of the words earlier, like what is your lead management strategy? What is your dedupe strategy? What is your campaign management strategy? What's your opportunity flow and management strategy? There's a lot around every single one of those. What's your quoting process? This example here is something we do for a lot of our clients, and we try to leverage a concept of pushing interactions with people, with leads, into typically a child object in Sales Cloud. We call it an interaction object. It could be a marketing interaction object. It could be called a site core form entry object, right? But the concept here and the importance is that when you work with Marketing Cloud and you sync this data down into Marketing Cloud, if you do this setup right here, it'll sync over really easy here and make your segmentation easier to manage. So what happens when you're syncing things is that your contacts and your leads, when you sync that over to Marketing Cloud, those become your Marketing Cloud contacts. That's how much the client kind of has to pay for it, right? So one of the tricks is to get all this data over, like your website interactions, which would come over maybe into this object over here. And then you can do your segmentation against that object here, because it kind of comes over for free in a sense. All these rows come over, and then you can grab the lead from it or the contact from it, and that's who you want your Marketing Cloud contact to be over here. It's what's called a Marketing Cloud contact. It gets confusing with contacts over here in Sales Cloud, but that's what it is. But the goal is to really try to manage that these leads or person accounts or contacts are that single source of truth and that unique person, so they don't get duplicated over here. And it's tricky to do, and it takes some experience. And it's why we try to give our technical architects and our team members some base patterns like this, so when they go into something, they have something to follow and know that's worked well for other clients in the past. And it takes into account all these different objects. You know, this interactions model is talking to all these different things. That lead, how are you going to score it? How are you going to dedupe it? Maybe with matching rules. Maybe you're going to do it with some other way. And of course, you know, some of this processing that we talk about in here, you might do it in a flow, you might do it in a trigger. But some of this over time, because this is something we have to do a lot here, is something that's going to happen in CDP and Customer Data Platform. And that data will then feed down into Marketing Cloud here too. So it's evolving as we speak. And I think that's exciting, because it's new and better ways to do things, and always something new to learn. All right, number 4. This is more an extension of that, but with more specific Experian data here. So again, we have our Sales Cloud here. That's this big box here. And this one I put Marketing Cloud down here for how it was going to sync down here. But this is talking about, again, how is that third-party data going to come in? How is it going to land? And our big clients are going to be doing things like this, right? It's not just going to be using data loader. Like, they're talking about millions and millions of records that need to come in that they want to market to. And it could be a direct mail, you know, sending it through a postcard to them. It could be email. It could be an SMS message. But that's a lot of data here, right? No human being can be touching this stuff. It has to be all fully automated. So with this client, it all lands in Azure first. It might go to Experian too, and then come back with some matching, but it lands in Azure, and then this data has to get into, you know, Sales Cloud. And what are you going to use for these tools? So we might be a MuleSoft thing here. Again, it could be Informatica, whatever ETL tool that needs to be set up. It could be a custom API if that's really specific for the client, but we try to use best practice industry tools. But all this data has to come in here and land. Again, we have this third-party data, and you're going to have, you know, web to leads and stuff landing here too. And how does this data match up? There's a lot of decisions to be made here, and I think that makes for a really exciting and fun project to make sure this all lands. Yeah, there's so much work in these projects. It's very, very interesting. In the healthcare space too, what I want to point out about this one is, again, data coming in, website, third-party data maybe down here. Epic is that back-end system, so the data coming in. Here's your data model, Health Cloud, Marketing Cloud. You see this common pattern, but there's a lot within Perficient too, for those of you interested in this more reporting, analytics side of it also. And we have team members in our business unit who support Datorama. There's people who support Einstein Analytics, which is now the Tableau CRM. And of course, Tableau is is separate. This is called Tableau CRM now, but Tableau is a separate tool, and it's getting tighter and tighter to all the data that's out there over time. Salesforce continually makes it easier and easier to bring the data into all these reporting tools. There was just a thing added to Datorama that allows you to pull from data extension in Marketing Cloud now. So you don't have to build something in Automation Studio, export it via FTP, then have it land over here in Datorama and make that work. Datorama right here can point at a data extension, can query out the data, can land it in, and it keeps getting more and more tightly connected, because these are different tools that were bought, and it was put under Salesforce's portfolio, and they have a vision, and it's becoming tighter and tighter to make it easier and easier for this data to move around and get that 360-degree view. But there's some people who just maybe you don't like as much the Apex development or the front end web and CSS stuff. Maybe you're a data person and you love building those awesome dashboards and aggregating that data together for the reporting side. So and when our conversations, for those of you out there, more in that business side or business consulting or solution architecture, you want to start with outcomes and what people want to build. What do they really want to build? And then how are you going to report on that? So reporting should not be an end of the project decision, because it should actually drive what you want to show. What are your outcomes? I want to do this. I want this to happen. And then, what tool am I going to use to display it in? I think I have this slide and one more, and then we'll see where we go to. So this is an example, I think, again, about just process, and that we've been through this a lot. And as you come into Perficient and learn from those around you, and we're going to learn from you, the experiences you bring in, the things you've done before. It's all very talented people. Let me tell you, my travels across the globe, because I've lived 2 years in Cameroon, I lived 4 months in Jamaica, I studied in Europe, in Vienna. My languages are getting very bad because I haven't spoken my German for 20 years, but I've just learned over the years, and I know that's within the leadership of this business unit too, that people are the same everywhere. They just want to be challenged. They want to learn. They want to grow every day. I talk about autonomy, mastery, and purpose all the time with my people, and make sure that those things are happening. And if they're not, then they're going to find some other home. I want to find the people who match what we're doing here, because it's exciting stuff, and it's a great career if it fits you, and it is a great home. But I've really learned everybody's the same. They want the same things. They want to work hard. They want a good school for their kids, and they want to take a walk at night with their dog or whatever, right? It's the same stuff. But back to this, sorry. Sort of last one. But this is just a best practice, again, of in the Marketing Cloud. How do you lay out a journey? A journey in Marketing Cloud is, you're going to bring that data in. You're going to send, 1, 2 emails. Maybe if they open the email, we send them this way and send them an SMS. If they don't open the email, we send it to them again. You can do all that with these point and click type widgets that can be put out here. And then journeys can have goals. What is the goal? Or if someone gets to a certain spot in the journey, what is the exit definition to kick them out of the journey? We have to gather all these requirements, right? So our business analysts, which sort of like our solution architects, they understand what the needs are going in, and they can ask the right questions to build this out. Then you can hand it over to your technical architect to build out, where the data is going to come from, how it needs to be segmented, lay out that sequence. Usually we use like Lucidchart for that, for doing our diagrams, and then handing it off to that technical consultant who will build the journey. There's multiple things to build here, right? You have to build the journey. You have to do the queries in Automation Studio, or use filter data extensions, and then you also yeah, you have to do the journey. You have to build the email too, and build the AMP script in there, and make it really look really nice off of a common template, and understand, that you have to have your link to your unsubscribes and all that stuff in there, so that it's done properly. So a lot of pieces, but we have these documents and processes in place to make this be very efficient and make us feel very good that we are delivering great value and moving forward and helping people to run their business. So last slide. Yeah, we're at, we have about a half an hour left, but we'll see where questions come up. I just really believe it's a place to learn and grow. I was in a leadership meeting today with all of our directors and leadership, our general manager today, two floors upstairs, and it's a very positive, growing group, and we want to grow, and we will grow, and we want people to come along for the ride. You're going to experience cross-cloud environments with high volumes of data and complex business processes, and that's a challenge, and that's fun, and that's how you learn and grow when you're exposed to, oh my goodness, this custom object has 6 million rows in it, and you try to start doing a SOQL query against it, and it doesn't function properly in your Apex batch job, right? And you learn, and then when you hit that next one, you go into that next client, you just like, I got it, right? I know how to do this. So if you want to put your skills to the test, Perficient is a great place for you, and I'm excited to work with you personally. I'm going to be working with the Columbia team down there. We have people in place, we have people working on projects, and we're looking for more and more. So please come join us, reach out to the people on this meeting, reach out on LinkedIn and share the word, because we're investing in Columbia, and it's not just Salesforce, it's across all the different technologies. So come join us, and I'll pause with that.
All right, Terry, thank you very much for this. It was a great presentation. It was a great way to know and for people to understand what is it that we do at Perficient related to Salesforce. Right now, we only have one question. I'm pretty sure we will get more. The first question we have is, do you have any recommendation for a first job as a software delivery, as a Salesforce admin, actually?
As a Salesforce admin, yeah, so my first recommendation is straight to Trailhead. There's so much out there that you can learn for. It's totally free, right? You get an account, you log in. There's tons and tons of things to learn out there. I'm out there learning new things all the time. So go out there and learn on your own. And find that job and just dig in. We're going to be hiring across multiple different areas. For that admin side, we'll have that business consultant track where that person can come in and configure different things, right? That point and click functionality. There's kind of point and click and there's code, right? So point and click is that business consultant. They can add fields, they can do the validation rules, set up the page layouts, configure Lightning, do some simple flows as they get into it, and then grow into, do you want to become even more technical and do more complex things in there and get into some pieces of integrations? Or are you going down that path of being more that product owner solution architect who's going to understand the industry that you're working with? You're going to be able to be on that phone call and talk with that healthcare marketing person and understand that they want to do marketing against their different lines of business. There's a line of business who's going to do stuff for back and spine. There's going to be a line of business that's going to do stuff for heart disease, right? There's going to do stuff for things on the brain, right? There's a group with that. So you're going to know that stuff and be able to walk in and be able to talk to the industry and know their business needs, and then be partnering with that technical architect to implement those solutions. But back to the admin side, it's just diving in and learning, and you get your certifications. When you're getting on Trailhead, you're going to get little badges, and you get to different ranks and tiers like this. which is great. And then share those out on your LinkedIn site and build your own brand.
Awesome. All right. So while we get more questions, I have a couple I would like to make because I think that they're related to information that maybe is important for the people to know. And the first one will be like, we know Salesforce moves so quickly. It is constantly evolving. It's basically why we're having this conversation. There's continued to evolve. How does Perficient actually keep up with all the new stuff that Salesforce is putting out there? And how do Perficient guarantee that the people they have, like the people working on Salesforce and Perficient, not Perficient, is actually keeping up with those technologies as well?
Yeah, for sure. Great question. And it's very true, right? What we do at a few different levels is from the leadership side, we do give responsibility to different team members for owning different areas. So for example, I'm tied more to the marketing cloud, right? You saw a lot of my examples were about marketing cloud. So I'm trying to understand and share across all the teams and the architects what's going on. I'm trying to make relationships with Salesforce, the people at Salesforce itself, to see what's coming out in the roadmap there. As an organization, we try to sit on certain partner events. I've been on Experience Cloud events before where they bring all the partners in. And I actually remember being on a meeting when they were naming Community Cloud to Experience Cloud like 5 or 6 years ago, and they were talking about that there. So in our leadership level, we definitely assign out someone's in charge of manufacturing cloud. You're helping with marketing cloud. You're helping with Interaction Studio. So we have that leadership there that's building that out, from that architecture level. And then when new people come in, of course, we're hiring at all kinds of different layers, right? We might be bringing technical architects in, and they're good. They know their stuff. We're going to hand you your project, and away you go and support you. But for those, we also bring in that technical consultant layer. I didn't know anything about Salesforce 10 years ago. I was a .NET developer. I was dealing with ASP and ASP.NET way back in VB6 and things like that, and SQL servers and ODBC connections, right? So you just learn. So we come in, we see where people are at, we set them on those certification paths so that they can learn and feel good about that. And a lot of that is that learning on Trailhead and diving in. There's no limits to learning.
Okay, we just got another question on the chat. What is your personal opinion on the new Salesforce UX certification?
Yeah, that is a good one. Around that Experience Cloud there, I actually had a team member who just passed that as it is a relatively new one. I have another team member looking into that. There's so much around Experience Cloud and making sure that functions properly. There's the CMS that keeps getting built out more and more there. As far as, which one to get first, I would typically, as someone coming in, probably get your admin one first, right? Maybe a process builder, that type of one, it's platform dev like that. And then there's a Experience Cloud certification. And then there's like this UX one. So there's usually some type of path there, right? So this wouldn't be a first one you dive into. I don't know if that one actually has a prerequisite to it, but that's the type of path, and I've seen it. And one of my leading team members in the Experience Cloud area, she really enjoyed taking that one.
Okay, awesome. I have another one for you. And this, how is Perficient constantly defining new best practices for working on Salesforce? Every technology has best practices, and you're constantly evolving on that. So how do we actually keep it up in terms of best practices in Perficient?
Yeah, for sure. So along with, defining individuals who will take care of either a cloud. So I might work with manufacturing cloud, right? The technology. We'll have people who will be working within a given vertical too, right? So what are those manufacturing best practices that we're going to bring to the table? What are those healthcare best practices that we're going to bring to the table? But beyond that, with processes and things like that, we have leadership going up to our principal, who's making sure that we have laid out a structure and a process for delivering our projects that leads to success. Because sometimes a lot about delivering a project is really about just delivering it well and having a great experience, being very prescriptive, having great communication, having the right status reports, the right visibility. We are going to use Agile and Scrum. It provides great communication. We're going to be in some type of Jira tool, sharing things so everything gets documented. We're going to document our any risks that come up in the project in a certain spot to share that with the client and everyone immediately so that we can end on budget, on time, a happy client, and then we get that referral business back again. So that those processes are being put in place. They're handed to our delivery directors who, they're overseeing these projects. So I'm the delivery director on the project. I have my PM, my solution architect, and my technical architect, and then the team on there, and I'm making sure these processes are being used. And when we follow those, we have great projects.
Okay, awesome. So the next question I want to make you, and I want you to tell it from your experience, because I know you have been working with Salesforce a lot, and you have been working with Perficient for a while. How has Perficient actually pushed you to improving your skills constantly? Like, what is Perficient giving you constantly, and how is it pushing you to be better every single day?
Yeah, great question. So two parts to that. One is just encouraging, right? We have a very encouraging group about learning, and that is just so important, and to give people space to learn and grow and soak it in and know that it takes time. You don't come in and pass 5 certs and understand how all 4 clouds come together, right? You got to go through some projects. You got to go through some experiences like that. So there's the encouragement here that to try things, to learn, to know it's going to take some time, and the projects, the things we get involved with here are just going to challenge you and really force you to focus and to learn and to make things work, right? If you're coming into Salesforce org projects all day and you're setting up a couple custom objects and you don't have much data in there and there's not a lot of business processes behind it, you're just not going to be forced to really flex your muscle and your development tools and your toolbox of things that you know how to do. It's going to be those type of projects that are going to really help you build. So that's been what I've really enjoyed with Perficient, is these great brands, all the layers to the projects, working with these great people that, there's a phrase that iron sharpens iron, right? Or steel sharpens steel, right? You're sharing great ideas and you're learning very quickly that way, because we all know here at Perficient that we're a team and we need to grow everybody as fast as possible, because that's not putting pressure on people or work-life balance, but we're here, we're on a call, and we're going to be helping people. I was helping a developer, just before I got on here, with how to use the truncate function and on a custom object, because he had some external ID fields on there with 7 million records of data. So he didn't have to sit in front of Apex Data Loader all night, right? And we're here to support each other to make sure that we can be efficient and learn stuff. I don't want him sitting there doing that if he can just use the truncate option, right? Then he learned something. So it's a good day.
Awesome. How is the process to helping a person to have a constant career path? Because some people just get to a point where they are like, yeah, I'm a technical architect. So what else is Perficient offering to those people that are like too senior or too experienced for them to continue in that learning process constantly? How do we do that in the company?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because there are a lot of levels of leadership that exist in Perficient and are going to exist in Columbia there within our business unit. So in our technical track, we have our technical consultant, a senior, a lead technical consultant, right? So, that's your first, whatever, 0 to 12 years of your career. I don't know what it is, right? It's different for different people, but, that's your base path, right? And then you're going to reach that technical architect layer. And we need those people. It's great projects and to come in and to be really able to own a cloud. That's kind of what I think of at that technical architect layer. Like, you really know for sure one cloud really, really well, right? You might know sales and service cloud really well, or you might know marketing cloud really. I mean, you own it. You're the leader on the project. It might be experience cloud that you know really, really well. We also have a senior technical architect position, and that's that person who, either because of the number of clouds that are talking together, you can go in and configure and know how all those things work and how they all need to flow together. And you can also sit on top of a very complex system where you're the senior technical architect, and maybe it's a big enough project. You have 2 technical architects under you, one implementing Health Cloud and one implementing Marketing Cloud over here, and you're directing them and teaching them how they work together so they can grow and become that senior technical architect. And then beyond that, then our normal progression here from either that senior technical architect or senior solution architect is then up into that delivery director, where you get to work and make sure that these teams are functioning well. And you get to make sure that the project manager and the solution architect and the technical architect are all doing their thing and working well as a group, right? I do like to coach. I like to coach American football, and people call me coach on projects and things like that too. But I love that because I'm sitting on these projects, because that's what I serve as the delivery director. I get to make sure we have the right team members on there playing the right positions, right? They're kicking the ball to each other properly, and they're talking when they should be talking, and they're filling out the forms when they should be filling out the forms. And I have the right technical person here who can write this query, and I have this right person who understands the CSS that needs to go here and making all of that work, right? I'm not in there doing the work, but I'm overseeing that and making sure it functions well. And then that project ends good on time, and the team can go on to that next one. But the point there is that there is a lot of layers there. There's from senior technical consultant to technical architect to senior technical architect to delivery director. And then, of course, there's things above that. You start getting into other director roles, into principals, into vice presidents and things like that, right? There's just lots of steps to take there, wherever you want to go.
Okay, awesome. You have mentioned a couple of times Agile and Scrum, and I would like people to know is how involved are they going to be in the decisions of how to implement things on a project? Because you have the architect, you have the solution architect. They're going to be kind of in charge of actually leading the design of the solution to be implemented. But how is people going to be involved? Because getting people involved in those decisions is actually what's going to make them grow in time. So how involved are they in the projects that we have?
Yeah, that's where those Scrum ceremonies really come into play to get the team involved and to get that team really tight. So at the beginning of a sprint, right? A sprint is some duration of 2 to 3 weeks where we're going to do a chunk of work, right? And at the beginning of that, you're going to have that grooming session, backlog grooming session, where the product owner and whoever else are going to figure out what the priority is going to be, and then they're going to meet with the team to hand out that work for that 2 or 3 weeks. Or if it's a really high functioning team, they'll just set the work out there, and then the team will go start grabbing things off of the Jira board and grab them and do them and work on them and move them across the board, right? So at the beginning of the process, they're getting everyone involved, making sure there's no questions about the amount of work that needs to be done. And then there's going to be those daily stand-ups that we're all used to every day, where everyone's going to be sharing the normal words. What did you work on yesterday? What are you going to work on tomorrow? Do you have any roadblocks? So that there's just a lot of great communication, and that everybody's moving forward. We don't have wasted hours. We don't have anyone feeling frustrated because they're stuck. That very important there. It provides a lot of transparency and visibility, and people can raise their hands. I'm stuck. I need help here, and that's that daily type of thing. And then at the end of the sprint, there's going to be some type of sprint review for the client to show the work that's being done, because we want that iteration of a couple weeks. We never want to get too far away from the client without them saying, yes, you are on the right track. I accept that. That has been done properly. Now you can go on to something else. That's why you have those type of iterations. And then finally, there should always be some type of retrospective meeting in our process, where it's not a long meeting, but it's just getting together and saying, in this last 2 weeks, what went well and what didn't go well? What should we keep and what should we get rid of, so that in the next 2 weeks we work better together? Maybe, earlier I showed that diagram of a journey, right? And where the solution architect can fill it out and do something. Well, maybe we hadn't quite figured out that we should put the goal on there, right? And someone says, hey, if you ask, the who's ever building these marketing campaigns what their goals should be up front a little bit sooner, we could build a better QA process. Our queries would come together better. There would be less back and forth. Let's fix our process, make it more seamless for this client so we can be more efficient, and then everybody wins. But you have to have that type of ongoing learning and feedback loop built into your process, and that's what Agile gives us. And I should say Scrum more of directly, right? But that's really what Scrum gives us.
Awesome, pretty clear. We're coming to the end. The final question I want to make you, because we're not getting too much more questions on the comments. The final question I want to make you is, what is it that Perficient saw in Latin America to make this investment on Salesforce specifically?
Can you repeat that one more time for me, please?
Yeah, what is it that Perficient and specifically the Salesforce BU saw in Latin America that is actually making us want to develop that practice here in Colombia so bad?
Yeah, it was just a great fit. The leaders in our organization found a company down there that was doing great things, and we could partner with and scale quickly, right? It was already established. The structure was there. I've just been really impressed with right now it's a group of guys that I work with, but we want men and women and all kinds of, and everyone to come work with us. But the guys I've been working with have been wonderful, and they've been diving in and working hard and working on their certs. I feel a great connection already. Love meeting with them every day. I'm excited I was actually just in my meeting today, upstairs 2 floors. There was one of our directors who said, yeah, I was working with one of the guys from Colombia, and one of the team members, I'll work with him any day. And I know he'll say that because this person is really great. He has some certifications and he's doing great and is enjoying his work. So it's just working really nice. I think it's a great fit. I'm excited to come down and visit someday when we can get past this COVID stuff and all this or that. But I love to travel and see. So I know great connections are being made, and I look forward to, like we're saying here, all these levels here coming out of Colombia. I want the technical architects leading projects. There's no reason why that doesn't happen. There's no reason why there isn't delivery directors out of Colombia at some point managing these projects, and are my peers, and we're building all these great teams out of those offices. So the sky's the limit.
Awesome. All right. I think we should be closing now. I just want to thank everybody who is connected with us. Thank you for being with us until the end. Thank you for the questions. Just please remember, this has been a tech talk organized by Perficient Latin America with the great support of Perficient by Terry Lucian. Terry, thank you very much. I mean, this is awesome to be able to have you here and talk to the people in Colombia about the Salesforce practice and about what we do, and showing us great examples of everything that you have achieved in your career and the great solutions that you have implemented. So I really appreciate it. I know the guys who are connected really appreciate your time and your effort. And yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right. That will be all. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. See you, Terry.
Okay, bye.
Bye.